Alright guys, so Ara-Kara is a spider dungeon. There are spiders everywhere. The first boss is a big spider. It's a big spider, okay? And what this spider does is first she does a shriek. It does big AoE damage. So there's a thing that she'll pretty much do it pretty early in the fight. It does big AoE damage. You just want to use like a wall or something on that. It happens every probably like 40 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that. It's not too bad. Just use a defensive on it. This boss is really easy for the most part. Second off, she will lay eggs. Okay, eggs. She'll lay some eggs before spawning them, and you'll see them. And what happens with these eggs is they'll hatch in little spiders. Little spiders will come out of them. And they'll fixate on a player, okay? So these are a bunch of players. This is a player. This is a player. Right? And this is a player. And there's 4 spiders that spawn out of these. And they'll fixate on players. What you want to do is you want to CC these or stun them. Basically when they're all stacked up and just AoE them down. Melee can go hit them. You know, like I said, you could use a wall or something if you're going to hit them. I don't think they really hit that hard. I've never really died to them. But basically you just AoE them down. If you have 2 range in your group, they could probably handle it yourself if you're a melee. But that's the mechanic there. The other mechanic is she'll start spewing out webs from her butt. She'll start spewing out webs at everyone in the party. And these webs will be like a little circle. And they'll follow you around and they'll drop like every half second. And you can't get hit by these because these will kill you, okay? And these will also fill up the room. So ideally, if this is the boss room, right here, ideally your whole group kind of wants to stack like around here or something like that, and then fill this whole place up with webs, and then the next webs, you fill this whole place up with webs. That's ideally, but I mean, this boss is pretty easy and dies pretty quick. I don't even think there's much more to this. To be honest, I don't even think there's much. That's the whole fight, pretty much, is dodge webs, use cooldowns on the AoE, and put the webs in decent spots, and don't die to the webs, and kill the ads. And she dies. Very easy boss. All right, boss number 2 is a big Nerubian. He kind of looks like this. He's got like horns. He's a big beetle. He's a big beetle with legs. Like a big ladybug, but angry. Very big beetle with things. So what he does is he will fixate a player. He'll target a player. This is the player, and he'll do an underground charge to this player, and it'll come up and hit this player. And if anyone's in the path, they'll hit them as well at higher keys. They'll probably one-shot you. The player who's targeted probably wants to use a defensive cooldown. After that, he also summons a little ad. A little ad spawns periodically through the fight. It's like a little spider ad thing. And this thing, you know, grip it in and just kill it. Kick it too. It does a cast. Honestly, I don't know what the cast does when it goes off because it never goes off. If you let it go off, I don't know. You know that you got 5 people to don't let the cast go off. And you kill the spider. It dies pretty easily. It's not a big deal. He'll put a debuff on a player. He'll make a player all sick with some green debuff on him, you know, make you feel all sick and under the weather. After this expires, it'll leave like a little plague circle that travels around the room. It'll travel around the room, basically just stay out of it, you know, heal the debuff. I think you can dispel it. I actually don't know if you can spell it. But I don't think you can. It's a debuff. It'll expire. It'll leave a little swirly thing on the ground, and just avoid it. Other than that, at 100 energy, he goes into his phase, which he makes a little safety circle. And the whole room gets poisoned around him. You want to go into the safety circle, and the tank wants to tank him. So this is the boss right here. This is the boss. The tank wants to tank him in the corner, basically, looking at the corner, because he does like an AoE, like a tank AoE in front of him. He'll do like a big AoE in front of him like this. So the tank wants to tank him in the corner so he doesn't look at other people, so all the other DPS can hang out like over here. And during this phase, you'll get the debuff, and you know, just don't stand in circles, and that's it. That's it for this boss. Pretty simple. All right, the last boss is actually the hardest boss in this dungeon. She is like a spider queen, so she's like got big horns, and She's evil and really happy. She's like a spider queen. This is her. She's like a spider cat queen, and she basically sucks you in, and she's pretty hard. She's kind of mechanically hard. One thing she'll do is she'll put a dot on a player that can be dispelled, and she'll put a dot on all players that can be dispelled. What happens with this dot? So let's say you're the player right here. What happens with this dot? It'll be directional based, so you'll either have two green things to your, up down, or your side. Either way. And what these do is they explode after like a couple seconds. It could be dispelled, so you could dispel one before. It does do damage. And these will basically pool out of you. They'll shoot out of you, these green little orbs. It's like sludge. And you just have to dodge it. So usually if you have like a couple melee, it's kind of rough. So because multiple people will get this. And sometimes you get horizontal and sometimes you get vertical, like I said. So you got to make sure like you're positioned in a way that this orb doesn't hit you, because it'll one-shot you. With more melee, it's kind of more rough, but it's not that bad. You just got to position. It's a little hectic, so just be cautious about it. She'll also drop these white little like circles sometimes, and you just stay out of them. Just don't stand in them, and you won't die. The ads that are running around, they're like blood suckers or something. If you tag them, they'll drop a dark little puddle. They'll drop a dark little puddle after you tag them. And what happens with these puddles is when you step in these puddles, it'll root you. And you need this for when she gets 100 energy, so she'll start sucking you. She'll start sucking everyone in. And at the last second of the suck, she'll do an omega suck, and you'll get sucked completely in her, and you'll die. So what you do is you move your character to the purple circle. You move your character to a purple circle. This purple circle will spawn an ad, but it'll root you, and so the root will prevent you from getting sucked, which is a good thing. You don't want to get sucked in, because you will die. And after the suck is done, you can knock up, or you can stun, or you can kick the little glob that spawns when you're in there, and it'll let you out of the root. And you basically just AoE down the ads. You can survive this with like deterrence, or you can even disengage out if you time it right, or bubble. I'm sure it works. But basically, yeah, she starts sucking. You go to a purple thing, and you get rooted, and you get out. And that's pretty much it. That's it. That's it for Ara-Kara. It's pretty easy, but some mechanics. It's probably one of the easier dungeons, I'd say.